In a world where law firms constantly miss out on new leads due to sloppy legal intake, and often because they just aren't answering the phone, two marketers aim to provide a glimmer of hope.
I thought we agreed we weren't going to do the announcer thing.
Thank God, because that hurts my throat. You do the intro.
Gladly. I'm Tony Prieto, and this is my colleague Nick Worker. Believe it or not, we're marketing professionals.
Well, I think you're the professional. But we are true experts when it comes to all matters legal intake.
For over a decade, our company, Answering Legal, has helped ensure that growing law firms never miss out on connecting with new leads.
And now we're ready to share our trade secrets and help make the legal world a better place.
Or at the very least, help our listeners shore up their lead capturing processes and convert more callers to clients.
Welcome to the Legal Intake Experts Podcast.
Let's dive right in.
We are back once again on the Legal Intake Experts Podcast presented by Answering Legal. I am Nick Worker. I have to say that I don't think Producer Joe is confident in my ability to carry an episode by myself because he created this podcast with Tony. So he's like, we need another co-host. And then we have another guest host today because Joe also doesn't believe in you.
This was not a surprise. This was a long time coming. We've got Jared Correia here.
Hello.
Host of the
Maybe Joe
Legal
doesn't
Late Night
believe in me.
Podcast.
Did everybody consider that?
You are more of a non-belief in terms of like the tooth fairy. Like, I don't believe that you actually exist. Like, because you're like a pickle. You know what I mean? Like,
Pickle Jared
you
is
take many,
the real
you take
Jared.
many forms.
Pickle Jared's the real
The
Jared.
pickle is the real me. Yes.
Yeah. You're more like the seeing is believing. Joe doesn't have like particular faith or confidence in me and Tony.
I'm like baby pigeons. Have you ever seen a baby pigeon before?
No, but I did recently hear that the history of pigeons is apparently heartbreaking and humans abandon them.
We just brought it down a level. I'm sad.
Well,
We brought
I
them
don't
over
think-
from Europe, yes.
I don't think you need much of an introduction. Obviously, honestly, Tony probably knows the origins of pigeons, but we're going to share some news. The news is that the Legal Intake Experts is now part of a new podcast network, which was co-founded by our good friend Jared. It's called the Legal Broadcasting Company. I will talk about the origin of how I came to understand the Legal Broadcasting Company for comedy's sake in a little bit, but we're really excited to be a part of it because we love Jared. We believe in everything that he does, and we like podcasting a lot, and there is probably no other network out there that would have the ridiculous combination of Tony and me and our thumbnails
You've
other
seen
than
our
Jared.
thumbnails. If you're watching
that was
this video,
that was a
you've seen our
selling
thumbnails.
point for me. Honestly, I was like the Mario. What sold me was like when you guys were the Mario Brothers on a thumbnail. I'm like,
I've
gotta
been
have
wanting to
that
do
shit.
that for so long.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you gonna do a whole series of video game characters?
The
That'd be cool.
thumbnails are the brainchild of our producer Joe and our wonderful designer Tyler, and they are the highlight of Tyler's day whenever he
They
gets to
are.
make us look ridiculous. So
Tyler, shouts to you. The thumbnails are great, and we're very excited to have you on the network. We're adding shows constantly, and we kind of want it to be like a clearinghouse for good legal content.
speaking of networks, we always have an icebreaker question on the show. So for today, the icebreaker question is, when you were growing up, what was your go-to TV network and what was your favorite show on that network? Jared, you're the guest. You can start.
Through the seas of time, I have trouble remembering like what networks there were back in the day, but I appreciate that you're even referring to a network, which obviously doesn't exist anymore because now we're in the streaming wars. My favorite show, undoubtedly, when I was a child, was Transformers. And I just talked about this on my podcast. Transformers was huge in 84, 85, 86, 87. And they came out with a movie in 1986 where within 20 minutes, like they killed off all the characters. So they created a whole new line of toys. And so they're re-releasing the movie and they're doing all kinds of fan festivals and they're calling it the Apology Tour. Like I remember this when I was a kid, like children were like weeping in the theater. Optimus Prime had died for real. And, you know, looking back on it, it was actually pretty ballsy. It was a great movie. I still love the Transformers movie, but the show was great. I would watch the show religiously. What network was it on? Oh, my God. Maybe like USA? Can I Google this while we talk?
Honestly, I was looking for it while you were describing it, and
I'm trying to find it.
I can't dig that up.
They buried that. That's like,
Can I tell you guys when I was watching Transformers when I was like 8, maybe younger, maybe like 7, and I watched it on an old TV with a knob to turn the channels, and it was either on 4, 6, or 8 because those are the only channels that came in without snow. That's how old I am. I loved any 80s like cartoon, toy, product placement. My favorite cartoons.
Yeah, I mean,
by far.
That's the power of Star Wars, right? Just sell toys.
Right. Star Wars was the first big one, and they started doing it for the shows. Yes, it's a whole interesting history behind that. But that's mine. I still love Transformers. They're great.
I'm so ambushed by this question, but
We get
Why?
the scripts ahead of time. You could have
I
read
don't
them.
read them. You know this. You know I don't read them.
I read them.
You are a much more prepared person than me. I don't read them. I am going to go with, because I was just talking about my grandmother, who I love very much. I'm going with Rugrats.
Oh,
and I love
good pick.
Rugrats because it was, I don't know, like, if it doesn't really hold up. If you watch Rugrats as an adult, you're like, wow, this is really like a lot. But very recently, because my wife is pregnant, I was talking about, it must have been over the holidays, where I was like, oh, I want to watch the Rugrats Hanukkah episode with my kid when he's born, like next year for Hanukkah. And she's like, I've never seen it. And so I play it for her. And my grandmother, who is an elderly Jewish woman, had also never seen it. And I showed it to her, and she cried laughing for the entirety of the 12 minutes that apparently a Rugrats episode is, because my grandfather, or my late grandfather, however you describe people who are no longer alive, was also from like Poland. And so the grandpa in the show has a Polish accent, or like a nondescript Eastern European accent. Oh,
Right.
my grandmother
right.
was crying laughing at everything they said. I'm going Rugrats. I think they covered a lot, and I can't pick SpongeBob because like then you just think that I'm lying. But the real answer is SpongeBob.
Just to close the loop, Transformers was not actually on any specific network. It was sold directly to local TV affiliates. So depending on where you were in the country, you'd get like the Pittsburgh channel or the Philadelphia channel or whatever. I like Rugrats was great. Tommy Pickles, iconic character. That's an excellent pick. Go ahead, Tony.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to go with something. I love bad television. I have wasted many, many hours of my life watching bad TV shows. And it comes from my mom, who also loves bad TV shows. And so one of the things that we used to do as a family back when they had, when my parents had network cable, we would sit down and watch a new show that would come out. And in the like early 2010s, there was this run of sci-fi TV shows that had stupid budgets, like Terra Nova, stuff like that. But my favorite was one called Revolution, which is a post-apocalyptic after like power goes out. Awful, terrible show. I went back and rewatched it. Still sucks. However,
Miles Matheson will not be talked about in this manner on this episode.
It stars Billy Burke, who plays, if people might remember, as the father of Bella in Twilight. One of my favorite actors.
Oh, wow.
He does an incredible
Joe,
job in that show.
Tony, this is a deep cut, my friend.
This show is
It's a
amazing.
deep cut.
It's a deep.
I've never seen the show. Never even heard of the show.
Don't waste
in
your
fact.
time. However,
Yes, this show is amazing.
Wait, it's called Revolution?
it's
It
called
has the guy
Revolution.
who plays Gus Fring from Breaking Bad as
Yes,
one
it
of like
does have
the evil
Giancarlo
generals.
Esposito.
Right,
Right after he dies on Breaking Bad. Spoiler alert. This was his next.
What?
This was his. This was his next role, which is a real downstep. But
why are you talking so bad? I love this show. We definitely have to
love this
talk
show.
about this.
I love the show. I'm not saying that I don't love the show. I think it's bad.
I'm gonna
It was
watch
on
it again.
NBC. If anyone's ever, if NBC still exists, it was on NBC.
Peacock is this.
Isn't
Peacock
that crazy? I
exists,
still
of course.
remember his name, the Miles Militia, or freaking Miles
Matheson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is I get the vibe. This is not dissimilar to like The Last of Us.
Yes.
It doesn't
No,
sound like
not
where
yet.
they're in
It's
like
a long-
different cities or like nations, but it's not like
Yeah.
a mushroom apocalypse. It's electricity.
I'm so upset right now that we have danced around this topic for so. I'm gonna move on. So I'm going to tell a story, and then I'm going to let Tony ask a question to get us back on track. But one of the first times that I can remember doing a podcast with you, Jared, was I think we like had you on as a guest for our show, like the original podcast that we ever did, which is just interviewing people.
Yep.
And I remember asking like a very loaded question, like what tech should lawyers be using for their firms? And I expected you to be like, oh, you should use a CRM like Clio, and you should do this for, excuse me. That was rude. Jared went on like I got to find this because I just remembered this. He went on like a 15-minute. No, it wasn't a rant. You listed every available technology that was out there that people should be using. And I remember thinking to myself, like, am I going to have to learn all this?
You took the question to its logical extreme.
I did. That sounds like me. I'm annoying.
And I was just like, oh my God, this guy knows so much. And now we're going to have to talk about this technology that I don't know anything about because he's gone way past my capabilities. And so what is about to happen is Tony.
Like I couldn't even tell, honestly. It seems like you knew what you're doing.
The primary skill of a podcaster is a bullshit ability.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I am king bullshit. So Tony,
tell me more.
Go ahead. Go ahead and ask Jared your question and see if you can replicate my confusion.
Yeah, so to focus this episode on, the legal industry, intake. What are some of the biggest intake mistakes you see law firms making that could easily be solved by adopting a CRM system or similar technology?
I'm not going to do like 75 different technology platforms because one of the problems is there's not that many like CRMs in the legal space that are specific to law firms. I mean, my biggest thing, okay, I got two things I've been talking about with people recently. One is like completing workflows, like dangling workflows, like hanging chads.
Chad was exactly what I was going to say.
Well, I have so many people who are just like, hey, like I built this workflow and I'm like, okay, what happens when it's over? And they're like, oh, it's supposed to end. I'm like, yeah, it might have terminus points throughout. Like people will just be like, well, I had a lead come in and I called him back. I'm like, and then what happened? And they're like, I don't know what happened. Actually, like something must have happened, but I don't know where that lead stands or anything about this. And so I see that all the time throughout like different segments of workflows. So that's a big one for me. So when I work with people, I try to be like, hey, let's be as thorough as possible. Let's map out every possible path this takes unto its ultimate conclusion. And people don't like that. They don't want to do that. But that's one of the big ones that I see. The other one is like remarketing, honestly. Like I think part of it is like you do the intake, but then sometimes you're not going to close somebody. And if you don't close somebody, like they fall into a black hole. But that person could come back around and cycle back through at some point. Estate planning is a good example of this. People want to do estate planning when they fear for their lives. So if you're flying to like Ecuador for the first time, you're thinking like my plane could crash. And then what would I do? But then you fly to Ecuador and you come back and you never follow up with your estate planning attorney. And consequently, your estate planning attorney never follows up with you. But if I'm an estate planning attorney and I contact you back through an automation or my newsletter or whatever, like 2 months down the line, and I got another trip. I'm flying now or I'm going on a cruise for the first time. Cruise ships can sink. I might get the hantavirus. What should I do? That's when they're ready to buy. But people don't grease the skids and make it easy for them to buy. So those are like, obviously that's a non-exhaustive list, but two conversations I've been having recently are like finalizing each segment of the workflow until the logical conclusion. Is this a lost lead? Does this turn somewhere else? And then the other thing is like remarketing. Almost nobody in the legal vertical remarkets at all.
So a legitimate piece of advice and then a joke. For the first part, for workflows, I often draw out stuff that we're doing on a piece of paper. Use a whiteboard, like old school. Like if you just have a whiteboard and you just draw it out, you will see everywhere that workflow. And the second one, you talked about estate planning and flights to Ecuador. I'm now imagining, the movie Alive with Ethan Hawke where they crash.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine that guy And the last scene is he's like, as they think they're going to die, he thinks, man, I really should have followed up with that estate planning attorney.
Now you're inspiring all the estate planning attorneys out there. Like, this is your commercial sequence. The last guy in alive. Somebody's creeping up to you with a fork, and it's like, shit, I should have got my will done.
That's amazing. Oh my God.
Yellow Jackets.
Yellow Jackets, exactly. That's a more
Could go on
up to date version of that story. Yeah.
We could go reference for reference. This is bad. This is a bad trio to have in a room.
You got one?
We could waste each other's time.
Yeah. Just a
Well,
bunch
did
of
you
dudes
see they
around.
did an Alive remake on Netflix.
They
It
did.
was like, I think it was like a Spanish language cast or something.
That makes sense.
I
I don't know
think- I
why
think
Ethan
maybe like
Hawke
2
was
years
an
ago.
Uruguayan football player, but that's fine.
I know, it's a little bit weird. He's got a lot of range.
He sure does.
I have this weird phenomenon that's happened to me recently. So Tony and I have been doing this show for like 7 months, and we have progressively gotten like we started with advice on like how to follow up with phone calls. And all of this stuff has been predicated on you like having a CRM. There are so many law firms that don't have a CRM.
It's crazy.
And don't even know what it is.
Yes.
So I'm talking
I feel
to
your pain.
I'm talking to a law firm recently, and I'm like, what do you use? Like say an inquiry comes in, how do you handle it? And he said Microsoft Teams. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, is Microsoft Teams like a CRM? And he said, what's a CRM? And I said, okay. Then I saw something recently, but I don't remember what it is. I truly don't remember what it is. And it might have been from you, because you're like one of 5 people there's 5 people on LinkedIn knows my algorithm. So it's crazy. I log in, I see Guy liked this, Guy commented on this, Guy shared this, that. Then it's you. Sometimes it'll be Conrad.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It's a couple of Delisi, Ron, Kevin from Array, and then it's the I have no idea where this stuff came from. That's like the For You page. The For You page on TikTok. But I saw something about like a platform that you can use to get all your outdated stuff onto a CRM. I didn't inquire anything about that. I really should. But we go so far down this thing of like, hey, this is how you can reach out to people who are calling you. But if you don't have a CRM, you have absolutely no effing idea how many times you spoke to somebody, if they need a call. Like, how are you doing that?
Does that platform integrate with Rolodex?
You're very funny.
I think that's the level of technology we're working on right here.
But that's probably what it is.
The other piece of this that is really thought-provoking, I think, is I also run into a lot of law firms who use, like, they pay for advertising. So they have a digital marketing agency and they don't have a CRM. So I have 2 questions. First, like, why do you do that without having some kind of way to track how things are going? And 2 is, why would I, as a digital marketing agency owner, let you do that? Like, if I run that company, I'm like, hey, you need a CRM. I'll help you build it out. Like, those are 2 scenarios that I can't fathom. I see that all the time. What a world we live in, gentlemen.
That's a failure on both ends of the,
the
relationship.
Yeah.
Because how are you going to hold that person accountable, obviously, from the lawyer's perspective? But like you said, I would not want to enter into that relationship where they could just turn on a dime and say, hey, this isn't working. And you say, what do you mean? What are you talking about? What do you mean it's not working?
Right. You have nobody has any way to tell. There's no transparency into anything that's going on. It's so problematic.
Do you obviously deal with this? What do you do? Seriously. Because the answer is obviously, I help them make a CRM. But how do you get all of their stuff? Do you just start fresh?
As a consultant, the first thing I do is stick my head in the toilet. Then I towel off and return. If somebody is like, so I would never get somebody who's like, I hired a digital marketing agency and I don't have CRM, because I wouldn't let them do it. So I often get them in like the throes of, I don't know what's going on. I paid X amount of money and nothing's happening. So I try to calmly say, hey, it's not too late. You want to keep working with this company. Maybe they're doing a good job. We need to get some transparency here. So you should adopt this software. Or if they're not willing to adopt the software, I'm like, hey, don't work with a digital marketing agency. Get your shit together first. Maybe do some content marketing. Maybe do some stuff where you're not getting paid. And it's particularly problematic because some people are running like Google ads and they're not even picking up the phone, which is crazy. So it's wild out there. It's a jungle. I think like the problem with attorneys, and I think a lot of small business owners, is the way they make decisions is they hear from a colleague of theirs and they're like, oh, like Ronnie down the hall was like, these guys are great. So I just signed up. Like lawyers do this shit all the time where they're like,
it's old school.
It's Tuesday at 3:35. My best friend just told me this product's good, so I just bought it. And then they might never use it for like 3 years. It is a wild dynamic. And I only work with lawyers, but I'm sure this happens with like CPAs and economists and all these other service-based industries. But there's almost like, there's no notion of, well, let me vet this, Like if I was going to buy a car, I'm not just walking into the lot and being like, this one looks good.
My buddy said this Lambo's great.
Yeah. That McLaren. I'll take that one, the green one. Yeah.
Thankfully, there's an institution that won't let you do that. So I am not a consultant, and I do have friends who start all these businesses, and they'll come to me, and the best of them are like, I have a business idea. What should I do? And I'll be able to like point you in a general direction. The worst of them will come to me and be like, well, I tried this, I tried that. It used to be this, it used to be this, it used to be that. And then I'm like, okay, well, why are you X amount of dollars in debt? Because they'll tell me like, I'm in debt, so I can't get a credit card and I can't. And then they'll be like, well, I bought all this podcasting equipment to do a podcast. And like, it's just but we're so distrusting of salespeople. So like a salesperson will call you up with this totally viable pitch and be like, hey, for your law firm, I have a great solution. For the price of like $50 a month, we will help you organize your entire sales process. You can see what's working, what's not working. We'll help you set it up. We got 24-hour support. They're like, no, thanks. And then buy, I don't know, like a 2-year subscription to a podcasting, like StreamYard. Like you're going to go live on StreamYard. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You buy all this stuff. You never use it, which is the lawyer's MO. Or you pass over the cheaper solution. This is another thing that lawyers do. Like, oh, that's not that's not expensive enough. Must not be high quality. So you go out, you buy something that costs 10 times as much, and then you also never use. Racking up business expenses, but lawyers do that. Like especially like mid-sized to large law firms, you see that happen all the time.
Yeah, because the price is supposed to be an indicator of quality, and they're not going to do the research.
The price is theoretically an indicator of quality, and they're not going to do the research. And then I think the other thing is that it is like a status symbol too. Because if you're a lawyer and you can be like, I just dropped, like you can be at a cocktail party and you can be like, I just bought this shit for $50,000, whatevs.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That gets you traction.
Like Mad Men,
world.
One of your 3 martini lunches, you talk about the money you just spent. Yeah.
Exactly. You think you're like Don Draper out there doing your thing. Like
3 martini lunch might be like $1,000 nowadays too,
Right. So I think what I'm saying and what we're all saying is like lawyers are bad at vetting things, especially technology. And so honestly, like a lot of the conversations I have with attorneys are like when we had that conversation before, I'm like, well, okay, here's what's out there. And they're always like, oh, there's more out there than I thought. And I was like, okay, like pick 3 things in a category and just like take demos and ask questions. And if you want, like you got a million AI tools, like record the demo, ask your questions, throw it into an AI and be like, is this person full of shit? This is so much easier to do than it used to be. If you tell the AI, like if you set it up appropriately and you're like, don't just be an affirmation engine. Don't just tell me everything I think is amazing. Like be critical, act as a like chief operating officer of a law firm with like 20 years of experience. Like if you prime the pump, it'll give you viable answers. And then you can also be like, give me your sources. Yeah, exactly. I have a client of mine who's actually brilliantly set up like a technology vetting tool for his law firm. And he's built the prompts out. So whenever he looks at a new technology tool, his agent already knows what his criteria are. He already knows what the concerns are. And he'll plug whatever data he has in there. He's like, look at the website, look at the knowledge base. Here's the transcript from my demo with this company. Like, tell me what you think. And it gives really viable recommendations, and it will say, hey, ask these 10 follow-up questions. Like, the ability to do this is there. Like, people just have to take the smallest amount of effort to get there.
But who vets the vetting tool?
So if you construct it correctly, you are vetting on the backside as well. So it's like the human in the loop thing, right? If I'm an attorney who understands technology, I build the tool in such a way that it's going to give me better results than it would be if I just like cut and pasted a link into an AI. And then on the backside, I still have to be the human on the loop to vet it and be like, okay, this looks good. This looks good. That's questionable. I should look into this. But you're 95% of the way there at that point. Whereas like you're 0% of the way there. If you're just like, I'm taking Bill's recommendation. I like this cut of his jib.
I wish people would take that same process and do it for their intake. Because you can vibe your intake doing it like that. And I don't.
Oh, you totally could.
I haven't tried it like this at all, just because I have my own personal opinions and experience with intake. But say you're, I don't know, you're like, I want to do my intake. I'm going to do my intake. And you go to your favorite AI tool and you tell it like what usually happens. Hey, a person usually calls me up with X thing. I usually tell them I'm going to call them back in 24 to 48 hours. And usually this is what happens, blah, 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 blah. These are the channels that it comes from. This is the outcome. This is how long it takes. This is what people say when I call them back. This is when I never hear from people. You can get a really good head start, or just like get all your thoughts out onto paper about your intake doing that exact thing.
I'll do you one better. If you're in, so if you're in Claude,
I'm just saying vibes.
If you're in Claude, like you can use Cowork to analyze any marketing software that you have and be like, act like an experienced CMO of a law firm. Here's access to my marketing data. Like, here's all my leads. Because, we were talking before, like, where does the information go if it is not in the software? Well, the answer to that for lawyers is it goes in the spreadsheet. So look at my Excel spreadsheet for all my marketing. You could even say, hey, look at the email correspondence I have with leads. Look at my case management software, and then say, hey, like, analyze this and give me an intake program. And also, like, show me how to build it. Like, what software do I use? Give me instructions on how to connect different softwares. Pull knowledge base information from the various companies. Like, you can do all that stuff and build a program with a tool like Cowork and other agent tools, which it can then run on its own in some cases. I've done that with law firms.
I got to tell you, I have so much less anxiety because I asked that question and I assumed that it was like never gonna. It was an unsolvable question. A Kobayashi Maru. I've used that reference before.
You guys need a whole section of show notes about all the random references you make. I feel like I'm home right now.
That's why we're on the network, dude.
Or
can I tell you something
producer
real
Joe
quick?
would have to fill everything. Like, here's a wiki link to Kobayashi Maru.
He can take the transcript, upload it to Claude.
Could. All right, so here's what I'm doing with a law firm right now, ripped from the headlines, right? I have a divorce law firm I'm working with. They've got an intake form in, I think, my case, and they've got an engagement agreement, and they've got like 3 divorce documents that they draft as a complaint off the intake. So I'm building effectively an instruction manual. I have built an instruction manual for them in Claude. I vetted the documents. I wrote a lengthy prompt because I would rather spend time prompting correctly than iterating over and over again and burning my tokens. And what we're building is let's spruce up the intake form. Let's make it so we're asking all the right questions. And we can do that in stages. We can do one intake form and then a secondary intake form. Then it's going to populate the engagement agreement, and then it's going to populate the divorce complaint. So once the web form's filled out, the engagement agreement goes to the attorney to approve. He clicks a button, says okay. That gets signed. Once it's signed, the payment link goes out, and then the documents are all ready for review as well. No touch. So we're doing that with an AI tool, and basically I'm saying I only want to use my case and whatever other product they're using for this. I think it's Microsoft 365. But I could say to Claude, like, hey, generate this stuff within Claude, and we could use that tool as well. But you don't have to, because all these functions exist in softwares. We're just surfacing the functions for them. And I wouldn't do this at every law firm, but the person who's running the firm has a little bit of software background, so they know what they're doing, so they can vibe code it. But that's something I'm doing right now.
I can't talk about vibe code because I'm vibe coding right now. And if I talk about it, we're never, ever gonna hang up. But I have
you need a
question for
vibe
you.
coding episode. All vibe
We
coding.
should do a vibe
all
coding
the time.
episode, but I really don't want to. I'm not that guy. I'm the intake guy. I want you to do intake. I want you to get an answering service. We could talk marketing. I love marketing. I talk to all my friends about marketing. My phone doesn't stop ringing from people asking me. It's emails. It's constant.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
But I cannot go down the rabbit hole of vibe coding, because if I endorse vibe coding, then I'm the vibe coding guy. You got to find somebody else to help you do vibe coding. You got to.
You don't want to be the
Ryan
vibe coding
McKean.
guy.
Ryan McKean of AI era or Best era, whatever.
Yes,
that guy's
Has been vibe
great.
code for you.
Yes, you go ask that guy about that. Okay, not me. Not me. Ask me about the other stuff that I like. But
You're
I'm gonna
right
put you
up
on
to
the
the
spot.
point of vibe coding, and then you're out.
Yeah, because if I had another thing that you're going to ask me about, man, I'm done. Then I can't
Especially
answer
because
at all.
everybody's vibe coding now, and if you're the vibe coding guru, you're just going to be drowning in it.
And I guess what I will say is, like, there's two ways to approach this. One is you can go ahead and vibe code it and like build something. The other way to do it is to do what I did for this law firm, which is like, tell me how to use my software better.
I like it. I'm going to
That's
ask
so
you.
uplifting.
Tell me
I
what
feel like Jimmy
software I
Carter.
have so that I can know how to use it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. That happened to me once. Actually, it happens to me more often than I'd like to admit. A few years ago, there was, you know me, I'm involved in everything here. There was somebody who was calling in repeatedly, leaving like 1-star reviews saying,
Sorry,
I can't
I'll
get a
tell
hold
my
of
mom to
anybody.
stop calling.
I can't get a hold of anybody. You guys are charging my card. You're doing all this stuff. And every time I call you to cancel my card, you guys tell me my account doesn't exist. And every month the charge goes through and blah, 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 blah. And nobody can help this person. And I don't think that I went through any like proper channels. I was just like, whatever, give me the phone number. I got on the phone with this person and I'm like, hey, what's going on? Who's charging you? What's the charge? Like, let's figure this out. And the first thing, I don't remember the name of the company, but he read me the charge. First of all, he said it was like $35. I was like, dude, our minimum plan's like $150. So like no one's charging you $30. What does the charge on your card say? And it said something legal. And I was like,
Yeah.
buddy, that is not us. I don't. And,
Yeah.
and like we
Please
found
stop
who
calling.
it was. And he was like, oh, okay. So it's this company. I'm like, yeah. So if you could go in and like hook up all your MCPs and be like, what am I using right now?
Put in your credit card. You didn't even have to do that. You could
I
just
mean-
like take the PDF credit card statement and give it to Claude, right?
So your Vibe customer service thing is what you're
Yeah.
doing.
I did that.
Um,
Yes, I do. I do that
I will-
sometimes.
I have an AI thought that I've been throwing out there. I'm kind of like beta testing it right now, which is I think once people start to get savvy, like people in general, not just attorneys, about AI, and they use it more regularly, like I think what's going to happen is like everybody's going to do like their errand based stuff overnight in AI. Like I need to call the electric company. I need to pay this bill. I need to schedule this appointment. What people are going to do is they're going to be like, look at my calendar, do all the shit I need to do, get it ready. I approve it when I wake up, and then we'll have nothing left to do. So we'll be back to being children again, just beating the shit out of each other constantly.
Except no one's going to have any money. I don't
Right.
know what they're going to do.
Right.
I don't know what they're going to do, man.
Universal basic income.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's
What's
where
his name?
this is
Andrew
going.
Yates has been saying that for like
Yeah.
Those
18 years.
I mean,
metal
if
baseball bats,
if AI takes over everybody's job, that it's got to be that. Like, what else could it possibly
Bezos said
be?
it. He was like,
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
the
know,
other
like-
option is working in the Amazon fulfillment center.
Yeah, let's not do that. Would I
I
write
love Jared.
poetry while collecting my universal basic income and drinking big gulps? I might. Sure. The end of Wall-E seems like not a terrible pathway to take.
and that is a good
It's cool jumpsuits.
segue because designer Tyler, who makes our thumbnails, that is his favorite movie.
Is it?
Yeah,
Wall-E's
Wall-E.
a great movie. Wall-E is like so predictive of all this shit. It's crazy. The
Well, it's a
ending of
sad
Wall-E
movie.
is like, yeah, exactly.
Wall-E's a sad movie. I'm big into CrossFit, and I tell people they're going to end up like Wall-E, but in the unhealthy float around in your giant what do you even call that chair?
I don't know. But here's the thing. Like, if I was in Wally and I had, like, if I actually had free time, I don't think I'd be sitting in my chair all day. You tell me if I have all day to work out, I'm going to sit in a recliner all day and drink big gulps? No way. I'd be
Well,
like,
like
there's
working out.
space,
It's fun.
right? So it's hard to lift in space.
I feel you can't set me up with a treadmill in space.
I don't know. They're on like a
Of
lazy
course they
river,
can.
dude. They got to have some like engineers who are going to figure that out.
I just read, I mean, yes, obviously it's sci-fi. I just read a book that takes place on the International Space Station, and they have special machines that build in resistance. And astronauts in the International Space Station have to do 2 hours of exercise every morning in order to prevent their muscles from wasting away.
Yeah, I mean, see that I'd be working out all the time in space.
Yeah.
I would have my space toothpaste tube in my bicep, and that's how I would put toothpaste on my toothpaste.
I just want to see
I'd be doing all
Jared
kinds
doing
of
like
shit like that.
calisthenic pull-ups, dude. Like those
Yeah.
crazy pull-ups, and then you like do that.
I'd
you know
be
what I'm
doing
saying,
those
on top of
workout
the pull-up
videos
bar.
where I'm like lifting the treadmills and stuff instead of actual weights. I'd be all over it. Like Wally would be like, I'd be the ripped guy in Wally. That would be
Ripped
my-
guy. Everyone thinks you're really
I'd
weird.
be the one ripped guy in Wally collecting my universal basic income.
Everyone's like, wow, this guy
See you
doesn't
in
like
5
his
years.
chair. I think his chair broke.
See, if hey, listen,
walking
revolution
everywhere.
is in 1 year, so we're there. The electricity's going out. Jared's going to be absolutely ripped.
I like how this podcast is half intake and half doomsday scenarios. This is great, actually. This is perfect.
I think we got
I mean,
enough.
you're gonna need intake for your apocalyptic,
That's true.
your post-apocalyptic community, right? You need someone at the gate. They need to be able to vibe check someone who comes in. Is this guy going to stab us and steal our stuff? That's intake.
If we must, if you're in the world of The Last of Us or Revolution, like you're trading stuff, like you're a trader of something. I think that's how everybody's making money. So yeah, do I need intake when I'm running guns? Hell yeah, I need a good intake system.
You won't, unfortunately, have a CRM, but we can go back to Rolodexes.
Whiteboard.
Yeah, whiteboard.
I would just raid like a Staples and like a CVS pharmacy. That'd be the first thing I'd be doing.
Right.
If it was post.
Everyone else is going to
Throw
Costco.
that
You're
shit in my
stocking
pickup
up on
truck.
office supplies.
I'm like, you want whiteboards? I got whiteboards.
I got whiteboards.
You could be the logistics guy, right? You know?
I could be.
It kind of
I
is
could be.
in the analog age. Anyway, Jared, thank you for being with us on the show today. Before we go, can you tell our audience all the places they can follow along with you these days? Because I think your like proverbial business card needs an update because you just
It does, yeah.
You move.
I'm working on that right now. In fact, well, you can find me on the dark web under my handle. No, let's not do that. Website, which is getting rehabbed.
how do you
shortly.
access the dark web, Jared?
I don't even know. Like,
I
it's
do.
so embarrassing that I would ever. Like, if you asked me to get on the dark web, I wouldn't even be able to tell you.
I'm not
Yeah.
telling you. So
I'm too busy like doing dad stuff. So yes, my website, redcavelegal.com for consulting, which is about to get a rehab. And then the Legal Broadcasting Company website, legalbroadcastingcompany.com for all the podcasts that are fit to listen to, especially the legal intake experts and their dope thumbnails.
And Legal Late Night with its great monologue intros.
And no, the thumbnails are less aggressive, but the monologues are, I don't even want to say they're further out than what you guys talk about, because we talked about some weird shit today, but we explore studio space a little bit.
Thank you again for joining us, Jared. And before we wrap, I want to remind our listeners of two things. One, you can go to answeringlegal.com to learn more about our virtual receptionist service. There's a link in the bio of this episode to get started with a 400-minute free trial. And if you do have a CRM, we integrate with it. So that's a simple way to make your intake work.
Tony is the king of the plug. Be sure to
Hell
join
yeah,
us
Tony. Nice
for
job.
the next episode of Legal Intake Experts. All episodes of the show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, the Answer Legal YouTube channel, and Legal Broadcasting Company. We'll see you next time, everyone.
Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time, everyone.